Every business, big or small, you grapple with this same challenge.
Mm,
How do you find the right tools? The ones that actually make things run smoother.
right. Boost efficiency, improve the customer experience, basically get a leg up.
Exactly. And when it comes to software, it feels like there's this fundamental choice, isn't there? Go off the shelf, ready-made, or build it custom.
Yeah, and that choice is precisely what the material we're digging into today tackles head on. It talks about off-the-shelf software as like the quick fix, maybe.
Or grabbing something from the supermarket shelf. That one resonates.
It does, but my favorite analogy they use is the generic birthday cake. It is a cake, technically.
But it's not quite the flavor you wanted, or it doesn't have the right decoration for, your specific party.
Precisely. It's built for the masses, which often means you're paying for all these features you never even touch.
And the flip side is, frustratingly, it's missing that one thing, that one crucial bit of functionality you desperately need for how you do things.
So the alternative, as these sources frame it, is custom software development. They call it having a master tailor craft a solution just for you.
Or building a tailored suite of digital solutions. Sounds bespoke.
It is. And the key insight, the really crucial thing the material stresses, is looking beyond that initial price tag. Custom often seems more expensive up front, right?
Yeah, that's the common perception.
But the real strategic value, where it truly delivers, is the long-term return on investment, the ROI.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. Let's pull out the most important insights from this material. We need to understand how custom software isn't just, an expense line item.
But a strategic investment, something that can genuinely pay for itself and then some.
Right. And the sources give us a framework, examples, even some data points to really see that long-term value. So let's unpack it. Where do we start?
Okay, let's first really nail down why off-the-shelf often misses the mark for businesses. Because it's built for the crowd. Like we said, you inevitably get this mismatch.
You end up with software that's kind of bloated, right? Features you don't use, cluttering everything up.
You're paying for that bloat. And at the same time, it's lacking those specific things that are unique to your way of working.
So what does that actually do to a team? The material's pretty clear on the consequences. It leads to clunky workarounds.
Oh, definitely. People start inventing manual processes, using spreadsheets on the side, trying to bridge the gaps the software leaves.
Which means wasted time, obviously. And ultimately, all that friction just becomes a real drag on growth and innovation. You're spending energy just fighting the tool instead of moving forward.
Right. Now, contrast that with custom software. The whole point is it's designed from the ground up to, well, fit your business like a glove.
It aligns specifically with your actual needs, your workflows, even your future goals.
And you feel that difference right away. The material points out how custom software plays nicely with your existing systems, so you avoid those integration nightmares.
And it's built to automate the tedious stuff, the things that just drain everyone's time and energy.
Yeah, and it provides the exact tools your team needs. Not too much, not too little, just right. It's this laser-focused approach that unlocks, as the material says, serious advantages that translate directly into a healthy ROI.
Okay, so let's talk about that ROI. Where does it actually show up? What are the key areas where this custom approach really starts to pay off?
Well, the first one, and often the biggest impact, is boosting efficiency and productivity. Seems obvious, but it's powerful.
When the software is built specifically to automate your repetitive tasks, streamline your particular workflows, the gains can be really significant.
Absolutely. And, this isn't just a gut feeling. Research, like from McKinsey, actually shows that automation can boost productivity by, well, a whopping 30% or more in many cases.
30%. Just think about your own day. Imagine automating a third of the annoying stuff.
Exactly. The material uses an example of a sales team with a custom CRM. So instead of reps manually logging calls or tracking leads in separate spreadsheets, we're fiddling with email templates.
The custom system handles their specific sales process, right?
Yep.
Manages leads the way they categorize them, automates follow-ups based on their rules.
Keeps all the communication logged automatically in one place, and you can actually quantify that.
How so?
Well, think about it. If a sales rep spends, say, just 2 hours a day on manual data entry, and honestly, it can easily be more.
Yeah, probably.
At a typical salary, maybe $50 a year, that's around $24 an hour. So 2 hours is like $48 wasted per rep, per day.
Wow. Okay. That adds up fast.
It really does. Over a year, that's over $12,000 annually per rep. Just gone. Custom software can slash that wasted time dramatically, freeing them up to actually, sell.
That's a compelling case just on its own. But it's not just individual time, is it? Custom software can cut operational costs more broadly.
Definitely. The research points to digital transformation, which often leans heavily on custom solutions, as a major driver of cost reduction.
Okay, like what?
Inventory management is a good example. A custom system isn't just counting boxes. It's built to understand your specific product cycles, your demand patterns, your supplier lead times.
So it knows exactly what you have, but also predicts what you'll need much better based on your actual data.
Right, which means it helps minimize waste from overstocking and prevents lost sales from stockouts. Both cost real money.
We're talking about carrying costs here. Storage, insurance, capital tied up.
Exactly. And the cost of lost sales when a customer wants something you don't have. The material estimates a mid-sized e-commerce business could easily save $10,000, $30,000 annually just from better inventory management via custom software. That's straight to the bottom line.
Okay, efficiency, cost cutting, what else drives this ROI?
Here's one that sometimes gets underestimated. Keeping customers happy and loyal. The impact is huge.
How huge?
There's research cited showing a mere 5% increase in customer retention can boost profits by a staggering 25% to 95%.
Wait, up to 95%. From just a 5% retention bump.
Yeah. It sounds almost unbelievable, but retaining customers is way cheaper than constantly acquiring new ones, and loyal customers tend to spend more over time.
Okay, so how does custom software tie into that?
Think about a custom e-commerce platform built just for your products and your typical customer journey. It can remember preferences much better.
Offer genuinely relevant recommendations, not just random stuff.
Make the whole buying process super smooth, tailored to them. It removes friction.
And the logic is simple. Happy customers are repeat customers. They stick around, buy more, tell their friends.
Exactly. And the material tries to quantify this too. Even a modest 10% retention boost, maybe driven by that better custom experience, could translate to tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in increased lifetime value.
Lifetime value, right? The total amount a customer spends with you over time. Boosting that average is incredibly powerful.
Definitely. And thinking about the long term brings us to scalability. Businesses need to grow, adapt.
And the demand for custom software globally is booming, which suggests companies recognize this need for adaptable solutions.
It does. And custom software, when done right, is built with that growth baked in. It uses a flexible, scalable architecture.
Like building a house with a foundation strong enough for an extension later.
That's a great analogy. You can add more users, handle more data, introduce new features without requiring a complete overhaul. It's about future-proofing your tech.
Which is a big difference from off the shelf, right? Where scaling often means hitting a hard limit.
Exactly. You outgrow the plan, and suddenly you're facing expensive upgrades or the need to switch to entirely new systems, which is costly, disruptive, and slows you down right when you need to accelerate.
Makes sense. What about standing out from the competition?
Another key area. Experts consistently say strategic tech use is crucial for competitive advantage. Custom software gives you capabilities your rivals, using the same generic tools, just don't have.
You're not just keeping up, you're creating something unique. The material mentions a custom logistics system.
Yeah, imagine real-time tracking perfectly integrated with your specific delivery network, plus optimization algorithms tuned for your cost structure or delivery speed goals.
That allows for faster, more reliable delivery, tailored to your operation. Customers notice that.
They absolutely do. It attracts more business, builds reputation, and, as the material points out, might even let you command premium pricing because you offer a superior service level.
Okay, one more driver mentioned is data, making smarter decisions.
Right. And again, research backs this up. Companies that really leverage data analytics tend to outperform their competitors.
So how does custom help there?
Think about a custom marketing analytics dashboard. Instead of trying to stitch together reports from Google Analytics, your CRM, your ad platforms.
You get one integrated view built to track the specific KPIs you decided matter most, like specific customer segments or campaign performance in your particular market.
Exactly. It surfaces the insights you need, cutting through the noise. This lets you fine-tune strategies based on real, relevant data, not just guesswork.
And the potential saving.
The material estimates even a 10% improvement in marketing ROI, just from making smarter decisions based on better data, could save a company $20,000, $50,000 annually by allocating budget more effectively.
Okay, so we've covered efficiency, costs, customers, scaling, competition, data, a lot of potential upsides. But let's circle back to that initial cost perception.
Right, the elephant in the room. Yes, the upfront development cost for custom software is usually higher than buying off the shelf. No denying that.
But the material argues you have to play the long game.
Absolutely. Because when you look at the total cost of ownership over several years, the picture often flips dramatically.
How so? What costs are you avoiding with custom?
Well, the big one is recurring subscription fees. Those SaaS licenses add up, especially as your team grows.
You also avoid the cost, both time and money, of trying to force-fit generic tools or build awkward integrations between systems that weren't designed to talk.
And you reclaim all that productivity lost to those clunky workarounds we talked about earlier. That has a real cost, too.
Let's put numbers on the subscription fees. The material gives an example.
Yeah, a typical CRM for a mid-sized business might be, say, $100 to $200 per user per month.
Okay.
For a team of 50 people, that's $60,000 to $120,000 gone every single year.
Wow.
Custom software has that initial investment. Sure, it might be significant, but then those ongoing, often escalating per user fees, they vanish. Over 3, 5, 10 years, that saving is significant. That's money you can reinvest.
Okay, so the long-term financial case seems strong. How do you actually calculate this ROI? It feels a bit fuzzy, maybe?
It can feel like detective work, as the material says. You have to capture the obvious financial benefits, but also try to account for the less tangible stuff.
But there's a basic formula.
Yeah, the standard ROI formula. You take your total benefits, subtract your total costs, divide that result by the total costs, and multiply by 100 to get a percentage.
Simple enough. But defining total costs and total benefits is the key.
Exactly. For the investment or costs, it's not just the initial development fee. You have to include ongoing maintenance, support contracts, maybe team training, any infrastructure tweaks needed.
Got it. And for the payoff, the benefit side.
That includes the measurable stuff, increased revenue, reduced operational costs, time savings quantified. But crucially, you also need to consider the harder to quantify things.
Like happier customers leading to better retention. Or stronger brand, more engaged employees not fighting their tools.
Precisely. While assigning an exact dollar value upfront is tough, these are real benefits that drive long-term success. Factoring them in, even qualitatively, gives a truer picture of the value.
The material had an example calculation showing the long-term perspective, right?
Yeah, it was really illustrative. It showed a hypothetical $100,000 initial investment. After factoring in first-year costs like maintenance and training, the ROI in year one might actually be negative. I think their example was around negative 33.9%.
Okay. Seeing a negative number in year one could definitely scare some people off.
That's the cold feet moment. But then, if you project the benefits continuing, the efficiency gains accumulating, the cost savings repeating, the customer loyalty kicking in, and factor in ongoing maintenance, the ROI in year 3 in their example jumped to a positive 57.7%.
Right. So it really drives home that custom software ROI isn't instant gratification. It builds and accelerates over time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
So knowing that, what are the practical steps? How do you make sure you actually get that positive ROI? The material called them smart moves for maximum ROI.
Yeah, basically a playbook for success. First, and maybe most critical, know exactly what you want.
Define clear goals, objectives, specific needs before you start building.
Absolutely. Unlike off the shelf where you adapt to the tool, here the tool adapts to you. So vague requirements are a recipe for disappointment and wasted money. Clarity is king.
Okay, what's next?
Build for the future. Insist on that scalable architecture we discussed. Your business will change. The software needs the flexibility to evolve easily.
Avoid painting yourself into a corner down the line. Makes sense.
Third, make it user-friendly. You have to prioritize the user experience, UX, and user interface, UI.
Because even the most powerful software is useless if people hate using it or can't figure it out quickly.
Exactly. A bad interface kills productivity gains. Fourth, integrate seamlessly.
Make sure it plays nicely with your other essential systems right from the start. Avoid creating new data silos.
Fifth, and this is crucial, lock it down. Security can't be an afterthought. Protecting business and customer data is non-negotiable.
The cost of a breach far outweighs the cost of building secure software.
No question. Sixth, plan for the long haul. Remember, custom software needs ongoing maintenance and support. It's not set and forget. Factor that into your budget and planning.
And finally,
Keep your eye on the prize, track the results, continuously monitor those key performance indicators, the metrics showing the impact on efficiency, costs, customers. Measure the ROI periodically.
to make sure you're getting the benefits you expected and to spot areas where you might need to tweak things.
Exactly. It keeps everyone focused on the value being delivered.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, The central message from all this material seems really clear. Custom software development isn't just, buying some tech off a list.
No, it's a strategic investment. It's fundamentally about investing in the long-term health and trajectory of your business.
And by tailoring solutions specifically to how you operate, you unlock benefits, real, lasting benefits that generic tools just can't offer.
We've seen the potential payoff: increased efficiency, lower operating costs, happier, more loyal customers.
And ultimately, a stronger competitive position because you're doing things uniquely well.
Approached strategically, custom software really can be a powerful engine for growth. It requires seeing beyond the initial sticker shock and understanding the long-term value proposition.
Yeah, it's about focusing on the forest, not just the trees of the upfront cost.
Yeah.
Which leaves me thinking, and maybe leaves you, our listener, thinking too. Considering all these different areas, custom software can impact speed, cost, customers, differentiation, what specific process in your own work or your business, maybe just something that feels small, or just how it's always been done. What might be truly ripe for a tailored digital approach? And if you could build that solution, what currently unmeasured, maybe unexpected benefits might it quietly unlock for you and your team over the next few years?